Elon Musk took out the trash yesterday over at Twitter, at least some of it, firing 50% of the employees. As the liberal media can't help but notice, just days before the midterm elections, and those are the employees who fight misinformation. Aww.
Today we learned that Twitter has cut many of the people they have at the company fighting misinformation. And just a few minutes ago, I spoke to Jason Goldman, who was on he's a founding team member at Twitter and a former executive. And here's what he had to say about some of the concerns.
Tell us how censorship is good, sir.
You see tools like Twitter being used by powerful influencers to spread disinformation and to question the integrity of elections and to, in general, threaten the faith that people have that democracy is working as intended. And so I think
exercising their First Amendment is a threat to democracy. Okay, sir.
Rightly, post-2016, Twitter started playing a much more active role. The problem is that Elon seems to be fairly contemptuous of that role. And a lot of his free speech protestations aren't really about protecting free speech. It's really more about trying to put his thumb on the scale for a particular type of political preference that he and some of his cohort have. And I think that is dangerous.
Exercising the First Amendment is dangerous. MSNBC isn't taking the news any easier. Tell us, self-proclaimed journalist, why are you scared?
Sure. So the most important thing that Twitter employees want to stress is that the company is a nightmare right now.
Yeah.
And you cannot work there.
Good.
And the website is built on sticks and it might fall apart. So how is it cards?
Even better.
If it falls apart by Tuesday, we're in trouble in terms of getting election information out there.
It would be great. You know what? If the employees delete the source code and the entire app vanishes from the App Store and the entire database gets deleted from the internet, everybody loses their followers, that might actually be the best possible outcome. Elon said regarding Twitter's reduction in force, unfortunately, there is no choice when the company is losing over $4 million a day. Adding, everyone exited was offered 3 months of severance, which is 50% more than legally required. Well, that was a mistake, but nobody's perfect. Twitter has had a massive drop in revenue, he said, due to activist groups pressuring advertisers, even though nothing has changed with content moderation, and we did everything we could to appease the activists. Extremely messed up. They are trying to destroy free speech in America. Elon's having such a hard time that he changed his Twitter bio to Twitter Complaint Hotline Operator because everybody just keeps replying to anything that he tweets about their complaints. And he changed his location to hell. But there's not a coordinated campaign to train Twitter of their advertisers, right? Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, the ADL tweeted out that today we are joining dozens of other groups to ask advertisers to pause Twitter spending because we're profoundly concerned about anti-Semitism and hate on the platform. The president of the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of, we'll just say black people. I can't actually tell you what the actual name is because the anti-whiteism is so bad in America that white people aren't allowed to utter certain words out loud, whether it's rap lyrics or quoting someone or mentioning the name of a Black Power organization. But the president of the NAACP, who had just met with Elon in a virtual conference call as Elon was trying to appease the activist groups, says that it is immoral, dangerous, and highly destructive to our democracy for any advertiser to fund a platform that fuels hate speech, free speech, election denialism. Oh, how dare we just have questions about the outcomes of things, and conspiracy theories until actions are taken to make this a safe space, which he says unironically. A safe space. We call on companies to pause all advertising on Twitter. The NAACP, Black Lives Matter, the ADL, everybody is coordinating to ban all advertising on Twitter now. Of course, many of the now former Twitter employees who got fired are posting their sob stories on Twitter, like this twit, who I'm sure has pronouns in his bio. I am officially no longer the engineering manager for the accessibility experience team at Twitter. I have words. And that's a thread icon, meaning that he's just going to go on and on and on. Some of them are impossible to tell whether or not it's actually from a former Twitter employee or somebody mocking them. Like this one. I mean, it really could go either way. This could be a parody. It could be real. You just can't tell. It's insane because I knew it was coming, but I'm absolutely ripped in half. I'm embarrassed for posting, but it hurts because this company was so damn special. Mastodon started trending yesterday. It's sort of a Twitter clone. It's actually an open source software, and it's what Gab uses, and I think what Truth Social uses as well. They just sort of take it and change the code to use it to fit how it is that they want it to work. But apparently there's a whole bunch of different Mastodon servers out there, and so now people are claiming that they're leaving Twitter and they're going to go and join one of the Mastodon servers. Well, goodbye. And as I've been saying since day one, don't get your hopes up too high about Elon restoring Twitter to its supposed glory days. They're going to do everything that they can to destroy the platform, to destroy him personally and financially, professionally, and he may bow down and bend over to the establishment because, like I've been saying, if he restores certain accounts, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, all hell's going to break loose, and they may actually ban him from the App Store. They might ban him from the App Store next week after the midterms if they don't clamp down on people tweeting misinformation about the midterms. And as you can imagine, tons of people keep replying to his tweets, telling him who they want to be restored, from James O'Keefe from Project Veritas to Alex Jones. And then there's people like Ben Shapiro who are spreading misinformation and helping Jordan Peterson pretend like he's been banned from Twitter too, tweeting to Elon saying it's time to free Jordan Peterson, then getting amplified by Ted Cruz. It is time for Elon Musk to let Jordan Peterson back on Twitter. Well, I got news for you. Jordan Peterson hasn't been banned. I don't even think it's fair to say that he's been suspended. He was censored. He is technically locked out of his account, and he can't tweet, but he could tweet again in 2 seconds if he just clicks the link that Twitter sent him in the email that they send to everybody that gets locked out of their account. They did censor him. He used the wrong pronouns. He misgendered a transgender person. And so they took the tweet down. You can see it says this tweet violated Twitter's rules. And so what normal people do is they click the stupid link that tells you you're a terrible person and you shouldn't say such things. And then you're immediately allowed to tweet again. So it's not a suspension. A suspension is what happens when they lock you out of your account for 7 days or for 30 days. This is not a suspension. And he could tweet again in 2 seconds. And this is all just an attention-grabbing publicity stunt. Twitter's taking me off the platform. I can't tweet anymore. This is a guy who announced that he's quitting Twitter because people were sending him insults after he made an accurate comment about Sports Illustrated putting an obese woman on the cover, and he couldn't take the replies. And so instead of doing what a normal person does, just not reading them or just logging off for a day and then it passes, everybody loses interest after 30 minutes, he announced, I'm quitting Twitter because people are sending me mean tweets. And then, of course, like everybody who makes that announcement, he came back because he's addicted to it. Listen, regardless of what you think of Jordan Peterson, whether you need him to remind you to make your bed, or a lot of people, I think, see him as a parasocial father figure because they didn't grow up in a good environment, totally different issues. This is utterly ridiculous, and it's just a publicity stunt and pretending to be like he's a victim. And if Twitter knew that he was working for the Daily Wire, then he probably wouldn't have been locked out of his account, because I don't think there's been a single Daily Wire employee ever who has been censored, locked out of their account, or given a strike on any social media platform whatsoever. I'm not even going to get into Ben Shapiro having a private dinner at one of Mark Zuckerberg's homes. You can go and check out my previous video about Ben being caught on a hot mic if you haven't heard. Jordan Peterson also says that nobody should be allowed to use Twitter unless they're using their real names. And it's not about the company knowing who the users are. They know who everybody is. Unless somebody takes extreme measures to cover up their tracks, and I'm talking about buying a burner phone with cash, and they know the location from when you're tweeting. There's all sorts of ways that Twitter knows exactly who you are and where you are, even if you don't use your real name on your profile. So if somebody tweets something criminal, the authorities are going to know exactly who did it and where they were when they did.
The biggest problem that I can see is that the large online platforms allow anonymous troll demons to rampage through society with no cost to themselves. And I can identify these people quite accurately now. This will make a number of the people who are watching and listening uncomfortable because they'll be in the list of people who do this sort of thing. So they are saying things that are derisive and inflammatory and that would absolutely 100% get them punched if they ever said it in public.
Well, yeah, I mean, speaking facts these days will get you labeled a Nazi and punched by Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and any number of Democrats, sir.
And that has to be stopped. I think the large tech companies should be required to put in know your customer laws. They should ban anonymous accounts.
No, that's actually a terrible idea because then everyone from meme makers to independent journalists like the Columbia Bugle Twitter account, which is anonymous, which tweets out fantastic things, would be doxxed and harassed, just like the woman who runs Libs of TikTok, who did slip up and didn't register her website using the privacy feature, so the Washington Post found out who she was, visited her house, her relative's house, started posting all of her private information. That's what doxing is. And now she most likely can't get a normal job ever again. Listen, I'm not saying that this guy is all bad, but this is a terrible take. So is the time when he said that Brett Kavanaugh should step down if confirmed. That's what this tweet means. Not if the allegations are confirmed. If he was confirmed to the Supreme Court, Jordan Peterson thought that it would just help heal the country if he were to just step down to appease the Democrats. And despite the liberal media spreading fake news that anything goes now on Twitter and the entire moderation staff has been fired and people can tweet whatever they want, that is not true. Here is Elon highlighting the new head of the Trust and Safety Department, Yoel Roth, who I covered in a previous video, thinks that all Trump supporters are Nazis, and a whole bunch of tweets that he has since deleted. He should have been fired on day one as well, not reflecting very well on Elon's judgment. Elon highlighted his tweet explaining what's really going on regarding moderation, saying, "Here are the facts about where Twitter's trust and safety and moderation capacity stands today. While we said goodbye to incredibly talented friends and colleagues yesterday, our core moderation capabilities remain in place. So people are still going to get their tweets about the election, the midterms, fact-checked. People are still going to get censored for misgendering people. That still is against the terms of service. You're still going to get banned if you hurt people's feelings or post certain facts about certain groups of people." He went on to say yesterday's reduction in force affected approximately 15% of our trust and safety organization, as opposed to approximately 50% cuts company-wide, with our frontline moderation staff experiencing the least impact. But as soon as Elon starts selling the blue verification check marks, which he reportedly is going to start on Monday, all hell is probably going to break loose, because that is supposed to verify that someone is who they say they are. So if they're not verifying people's identities, then that means that anybody can start a Twitter account under any celebrity or politician's name, whether they're on Twitter or they're not on Twitter, or just put an underscore between their first and last name, and then get a verified account. So I don't think Jennifer Aniston is on Twitter. And so that means that somebody could just start a Jennifer underscore Aniston account or some variation of her name, and then just get it verified with a little blue check and start portraying themselves as her. The Twitter train wreck has only just begun. And how it turns out in the end, nobody knows, but it sure is going to be exciting to watch. And there might be some confusion about my Twitter account. When I say that I don't use Twitter, what I mean is I'm not tweeting very much. I'm not engaging with people on it. I'm not even reading my tweets. I do have a Twitter account. I use it in the sense of watching and lurking and gathering information, but I'm not like an active user tweeting and responding to tweets and going down the rabbit holes, because that's when I find it starts to be a tremendous time suck. Now, if Elon were to finally unblock me, then I would tweet a little bit, particularly responding to some of his tweets to try to give him my 2 cents about what's going on with Twitter. And appreciate all you guys who've responded to his tweets and tagged me and asking him politely to do so. And yeah, I've had several conversations with Jack Dorsey, the former CEO, on Twitter. We've had numerous back and forths over the years. This isn't some like big secret. This was public, and I've taken screenshots and I've shown them and discussed some of those conversations in previous videos over the years. So it's not some pipe dream pie in the sky thinking that I could get his attention and, engage with him in Twitter. But I can't do that because he blocked me several years ago. And for those of you who are not on Twitter, that doesn't mean that I'm banned. When I say, hey, ask Elon to unblock me, I'm not saying unban me. When someone blocks you, you can't see their tweets and you can't see when other people quote tweet them or comment on what somebody else has tweeted. And it's a big hassle. And I know I could start an alternative account and get around it, but it's just a big mess. And I would rather just have it with my account for two reasons. Like I said, just so I could see what he's saying, what everybody's saying about what he's saying, and so I could engage on his Twitter threads as well. And to support my work, head on over to my online store, markdice.com, and order yourself a Free Speech Zone shirt, an Ultra MAGA shirt, or any of my awesome designs. All available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.